What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the old vlog here about eBay and the full-time job now, and trying to keep everything going. Definitely a lot more tired having the full-time job, working 40 hours a week, and then doing eBay in my spare time, and then doing chores in my spare time, and then relaxing in my spare time. So you've got to prioritize, like I mentioned before, fit everything in. The great thing about it for me is I know the end goal. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but I know that I have an end goal and what that end goal is. And so that makes this process of doing eBay and having a full time job and making those sacrifices, it makes it worth it. Um, I know where the finish line is. I know what I need to do to get to that finish line. I know that I can accomplish it. Um, so it's just a matter of putting in the work in. How long is it going to take exactly? I don't know. Um, a lot's going to depend on in November when the election happens, right? Because a lot of people obviously follow the presidential election, what they think, whatever party is going to get nominated or become president, that's going to affect the direction of the economy, right, as a whole. And so some people will have more disposable income, some people won't. Just it all depends on politics. Um, so that's going to have a huge impact on where things go to end out the year. Now, let's say a lot of people feel that things are, whoever wins the election, people are like, yay, I'm going to have lots of money now. Obviously, that will spur that spending in Q4 at the end there in December. And so our sales could increase quicker than if we had the inverse effect on the economy with the election results. So I say that to say it could spur our growth in this store, the second store, a lot faster. And because my goal is about 23 items, I'll show you how I came up with my goal. Okay. So $100,000 per year. That's what I would like to make. It'll be a little bit less than that because there's a little bit of overhead, maybe $5,000. I don't know. It's not going to be much. I haven't done the exact calculation because I know it's not month per month. It's not much per month that I need to run this business. Um, and with these numbers, I am taking out the cost of goods, which is the biggest expense for my business. So I know my average profit per item after cost of good is $13. So that's 76.92 items per year. So we would divide by 365. It's actually 21. So I need 22 items per day. Once I sell 22 items per day, I'll be making in the 90s. You know, doesn't matter to me if I make 90,000 or 93,000 per year or 95,000 per year. $90,000 is a fair amount of money, way more than I need. But there you go. So excuse me. So that's what I'm looking at. So I know 22 items a day need to sell in that second store. I'm just doing the second store because that's the one we're really focusing on. First store, while we have a lot of items in it, um, they're not all great items. So we're focusing on the second store. In fact, let's switch over to the second store. Okay, so we need 22 items per day. So last month, it was a 30. We sold 1.3. Long ways away from 22 items a month, right? So I'm starting to list more items. We're listing 4 per day now in this store. Um, and you just, I've talked about this before in my previous videos about how you know. Actually, I have a worksheet that I use, a spreadsheet, whatever you want to call it, that'll show me the money I need to grow to get to the next level. So what do I need to get to 5 a day? Well, my cost of goods, my average cost of goods is $6. So 6 times 5 is 30. 30 times, we'll use 31 days in the month. So I need to make $930 a month. And then I know I can go to 5 per day. I also need to cover my other costs of my other expenses for the business. The first store, kind of just covers the expenses for the business. That's pretty much what it does, and then it gives a little bit extra. Um, so this is, yeah, 5 a day, right? So I know that. Oh, I'm sorry, I did that. I need to do the complete math. Sorry, dude. Uh, so then you divide by your average profit per item, 71 items for the month. We need to sell about 2.3 per day in order to grow to 5 listings per day, to go from 4, where we're at now, to 5. It's a pretty simple process. Um, so we only did 1 point, what did we say, 2? Or is it 1.3 last month? Last month was a really slow month for both stores, just the end of the summer. So how are we doing so far this month? Are we beating 1.3? Well, there are only 5 days in a month so far, so we're at 1.6 for the first 5 days. Today's not over. Hopefully, we'll sell one. So we've gone up a little bit. Now it's only 5 days in too, so I mean, really, it's like, eh. But we just started listing 4 per day. Uh, I think, I think it was this week I started, actually, because you can see. So we had some zeros. I don't remember when I made my last video, but so here's the Monday 26 0. We had a 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 0, 2. So uh, I think this is right at the beginning of the month is when I started to go up to 4 per day. And you can see our traffic is going up. Like you can see the 40,000 line, we're definitely getting a little bit higher. Now, here's something really interesting. Remember I talked about how I wanted this number to go up? Because 2178, and I was saying it was about 60 40 45 55, promoted being higher. So you can see now it's gone up 24.1 just this month. So it is going higher. So we are reaching our goal of um, getting better views on our items. I mean, obviously, if you have people that actually want your items, if you have good items, it will help them sell faster. So that's what we're shooting for. What else? So 1.4 million. Let's look at the first store. First store got 3.6. So it has more items, but I don't. I mean, look at this. We're only getting, like last couple of days, we haven't even got 100,000 impressions, and the slow sales on this one too. But I mean, we're at 100 and say 15 on average here, and over here we're probably 50,000. So we're coming for that first store pretty quickly, I feel. Um, this store is just kind of going along. We're just trying to get rid of those items that are bad and should be in our store. Um, and they're selling. We're not selling a lot per day, but the store is, the items are going down. And um, but I'm really concentrating on that second store. Uh, I went to the thrift. That's what this pile is. You guys can barely see it right here. Yesterday I got 24 items, and same stuff I always get. Great stuff. Um, we'll get it in the store, get it sold, get some more items. You guys know the routine. But I know that if you work a full-time job, you're doing eBay, it can be really tough. The sleep can suffer. Just you just got to manage the best you can. Like I said, having an end goal and knowing what that end goal is, just do your math just the way I did. How much money do you want to make per year? And what is your average profit per item? Those two things, you can figure out what your end goal is, how many you need to sell per day to replace your income, and then some. Now, as I go along in this journey, there's going to come a point to where I'm making 50,000 a year, and I'm halfway there, and that's great. Um, and that would replace my income that I'm making at my full-time job. So people be like, well, why don't you just quit? Well, I want to make sure, because of the bad experience I had in the first store, that this thing is it's gonna keep going, and So I'm going to ride it out for a while. I'm hoping that by next summer, I'll be where I need to be in sales, that I can just step away from that job. I would probably do it by going from full time now to part time, still doing eBay, still making sure, and then, once we're at 100,000 there on eBay, I'd probably, I don't know, maybe maybe a month or two, I would still stay part time, just because I really want to make sure. Uh, Finding a new job is a pain in the butt. I don't ever want to go through that process again. I haven't worked for anyone in, I think, 6 years. So going back into corporate America, I hate it. Um, it's ran horribly. A lot of big companies are. There's so much waste, so many things where they're trying to save money and make the company run better and make more money, which is great, but they're missing the small things where they could be saving themselves, I don't know, millions of dollars a year potentially. It's a pretty big company. And I don't know. I don't know why no one else sees it. Maybe just coming in and running a small business, my brain works differently because, I mean, as you know, if you run an eBay business, everything nickels and dime. I mean, you got to save, you got to do things the right way, you got to be efficient, you got to be smart about your purchases, about how every dime goes out. Um, but I don't know, the revenue's so high that they probably don't really know where all their losses are. They don't know where all their losses come from. They just see the bottom line, and yeah, it's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. So, uh, I want to make sure that as I grow, I still you know, keep that stuff in mind. Little, no waste, very efficient, very cost effective, just all those different things, right? And keep it running smooth. And then once I feel really comfortable, then I would step away from my job. I'm hoping, like I said, by next summer, that would give me about 9 months, say sometime in June or July. Um, I know, I know we're probably going to have some good growth here in Q4. And so I want to kind of hit it hard, but I also want to be smart about it because, someone left me a comment. Well, if you want to make more, just list more items. You should go from 10 to 20. And it's like, they didn't hear the message. They don't understand, because to go from 10 to 20, that's a huge expense. You want to see how much that is? To go from 10 to 20, that's 60 times 31, $1,900. Not every business can just shell out an extra $1,900, nor do they have the time to go from 10 to 20. That's not good advice. I don't know what they're thinking, but you can't just add more listings. That doesn't solve the problem. If you don't have more money, it's not going to matter. Because then what's going to happen is you're going to run out of money. And then you're going to go from 10 to 20, and then you're going to go back down to 10, and then maybe 8 because you're running out of money and nothing's selling. And then the algorithm likes, what the hell's going on here? Thought we were doing a lot of business. And it's like, no, we're not, because I ran out of money. So, one, you got to be careful of the advice you get when you're out there in the world, reading things and doing things. And you just got to think it through. You got to be very slow and methodical on how you grow. Same thing when you're doing, two jobs. You just got to be focused, and you got to know what to do and not waste time. So, I don't know. Hope that helps somebody out there. I appreciate everyone joining, and we'll keep on going. I know my videos aren't as often now, but I'm trying to at least do one per week. Hopefully I can get into a better routine and do two per week. So, all right, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.